to another episode of TFL Leaderboard, Hot or Not. And today we have our expert driver, Paul, and we have a Honda Civic Coupe. What do we do with the Honda Civic Coupe? It certainly isn't the fastest car we've tested. I was going to say it's the most blue car we've tested, but the BMW M2 is pretty blue.
It's bluer. I think so, yeah.
So Paul, why are we testing a Honda Civic Coupe?
Well, I think we're hoping it's going to lead into maybe an SI version and a performance version. So we're going to see where this new platform is.
Yeah, it's a significant car. I mean, the Honda Civic has been around 10 generations now. Yeah, can you believe it? I mean, it was around when you were young. Actually, I'm older. That's kind of sad. But over those years, it's grown, and this one is almost the size of a Honda Accord. It's that big. Can you feel that size as you're flogging it around the track?
You know, actually, the instant I got in it, I had this thought in my head: is this an Accord or a Civic? I actually did that little, questioning of it because it was so big inside. And you're right; it's grown to the size of what an Accord was probably 2 or 3 generations ago.
Yeah. Now, of course, the way the show works is Paul takes the car on the track. I spend a week behind the wheel. So let's actually cut to the chase right now, and let's show them your 0 to 60 time, because it was quite fast.
All right, we're going to do 0 to 60 now in the Civic Turbo with the CVT transmission. So it's in sport mode. Traction control's off, but it won't spin the tires anyway, so I don't think it's really a point to be made. And we'll go full throttle and let go. Off we go. Actually not too bad. It pulls away really slowly, but once it gets going, it's not bad. 7.69 seconds, again at altitude, getting that little compensation that the turbocharger gives you at altitude, so not too bad.
So Paul, how did it feel going 0 to 60 in the new Coupe?
Well, the time was relatively good.
It was really good.
I was surprised, to be honest, because it goes off the line with the CVT so slowly. Yeah. I mean, you floor it and it just kind of ebbs away, and you're just like, oh, this is going to be terrible. And then by the time it hits about 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs, it really kind of takes off. You can feel the boost build, and off she goes. Now,
I spent a week behind the wheel, and I walked away impressed. I think the interior is just absolutely top of the segment. It really is nice. They've done a wonderful job in not only making it look sleek and expensive and, dare I say, sexy, but comfortable. That's not easy to do, because oftentimes an interior that's sexy and sleek is very uncomfortable. And I'm specifically talking about the F-Type for me.
Right, exactly.
But this all works. There's room for big guys. There's, I think, room for smaller guys.
Yeah, no, I had no issues in it at all. Actually, I'm a little surprised as soon as you started saying that. I was like, wow, I thought for sure you were going to say it wasn't comfortable for you. So that's impressive, and maybe that's the plus side to the car growing over a few generations.
All right, guys, full disclosure, the very first car I ever drove was a Honda Civic. My dad bought it for me, well, sort of, kind of. He bought it about 3 years before I learned to drive. And at that time, it was the cheapest car you could buy in America, $2,500. It was a Honda Civic CVCC, and I think it had maybe 1,000 or 1,200 cc's. And I got it when it had about 50,000 miles on the odometer. And what I did was, well, eventually the car got a rotten muffler, and that whole car actually rusted away. And what would happen is when the muffler got a hole in it, it actually sounded really good, because a 1200 cc car doesn't sound great. And so what I would do is, after my dad fixed the muffler, I would take a screwdriver and punch a hole in the muffler to get that sound back again.
Pièce de résistance, the thing that really kind of handicaps this car around the track, is that CVT transmission. I know they're sort of the paragon of efficiency. They're fantastic for fuel economy. They keep the car right at the peak torque level, which is really great for efficiency. But on the track, they're always about 1 second, no real exaggeration, 1 second behind you. So when you step on the gas, there's always a delay. And when you're letting off the gas very quickly to go to the brake very quickly to brake for a corner, there's also a delay. So you can actually feel when you're on the brake pedal, you can feel the CVT still driving the car down the road a little bit. There's that little weird moment of going, it feels like I have gas and brake on at the same time, even though I'm just using one foot, and I know I'm not. So all those things are going on. It's just not a performance car. Would a Type R variant of this car or an SI? Absolutely. It's going to be really fun. I really look forward to driving them.
But there's this kind of honesty in the engineering of this car that's just like the Civic that I learned to drive on. Everything is smartly laid out. Everything is easily at hand. Everything feels like it belongs. It's just a car that you naturally and comfortably are able to drive, except of course for the fact that Honda for some reason did away with the volume knob. But if you overlook that, it's a really wonderful car.
And it's one of the only cars in the segment that has independent rear suspension. And you can really feel that on the street when you're going over bumpy roads. It just soaks up the roads real nice. When you're going around a corner, it's really communicative in a kind of a fun Honda way. The steering wheel is nice and thick. The steering is relatively direct, but does that translate to a fast lap time? Let's find out.
Oh my gosh, look at that! It's naked! There is no plastic covering up this 1.5 liter turbo, and it's a gem of an engine. It spools up quickly, it makes plenty of power, 174 horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque, and I have fallen in love with it, except for the CVT transmission that emulates an automatic. Why not just put an automatic in it? I can't wait until they actually stick a manual in this and pair it so that you can drive it like it's meant to be driven. I wonder how Paul will do with it. All right, we have some good old all-season Continental Pro contacts. We've got two 1550 on 17-inch wheels. Now, of course, these aren't designed to be on the track, but you know what? I think they'll do okay. Question is, how will they do in this cold? Probably better than summer tires.
Very slow start. Picks up a little bit of steam here going into the first corner. A little bit laggy when you come off the gas. You can feel the car still kind of pulling as you do that. Brakes feel okay. Grip is, kind of marginal because this isn't a real performance variant of the car. We're going to have to wait for the Civic SI, hopefully, to really feel the performance potential of this vehicle. And then now just lots of understeer around the track. I'm trying to carry brake into the corner, which is usually the trick of quelling or stopping understeer. This car is just not really responsive to that. It still tends to want to understeer through the turn. One more corner to do, and I've got to just slow this car down on entry so it'll come out of the corner halfway decent and down the straightaway. It's got good power. I mean, the power's not bad. It's just, again, suspension, tire, brake, wheel package, and especially transmission really not built for, going around a track.
All right, Paul, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. Which one do you want first?
Oh, give me the bad news, Roman. Give me the bad news.
I'm gonna give you the good news first.
Okay, why'd you ask?
Because I think this is our highest MPG lap.
Oh!
But
I'm feeling good about that. Yeah, that's kind of what I would suspect to do. Actually, that might be a little bit better than I thought it would do in a 111.
All right, Paul. So, when we thought about doing this segment, I thought, should we give Paul CVT to test around a racetrack? So, should have we done it?
No. Absolutely not. Roman, what did I do wrong to deserve that? I mean, I thought we had something going here.
Especially coming off the Ep.6, which we did last week.
Yes, M2s, Jag F. You've been taking good care of me, Roman. And the Civic, all joking aside.
It looked composed from outside.
Yes, it was very composed. And it was composed because you had a lot of really nice things to say about the way it drove on the road and how it felt and the steering feel and all of that. And I absolutely believe that is absolutely true. But the thing is when you get it on the track and you start pushing it around there, that kind of all falls to pieces. And that's what I felt when I was out there. And you know, in its defense, it's not a performance variant.
No.
So you know, take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, there's an SI coming and an R type.
Yes, exactly. So what I'm saying is this car, and I've got to judge it on its performance around the track.
And guys, don't write the comments, you know, wait for the SI, wait for the stick shift that's going to be paired with the 1.5 liter turbo. We test the vehicles that are available for you to buy right now, not the ones that are coming.
It almost reminds me of that WRX where Subaru came out and basically nude with the car, and then they immediately had to go do an about face and actually put the cojones back in the vehicle. And I think that's what's going to happen with this car. I think you've got a really wonderful chassis, you've got a really wonderful platform, and when Honda actually comes out with the SI or the Type R and puts a good old manual transmission in this and maybe pumps up the power a little bit on the turbo, then you're going to have something that will compete with cars like some of the hottest hatches out there right now.
We have to ask, is it hot or not?
Yeah, obviously from my criteria of driving it around the track, both lap time and subjectively how it felt, I've got to say it's not hot. And I'm hoping the next variant is.
Yeah, I have to completely agree with you because the CVT just takes the soul out of the car. It makes it fuel efficient, it makes it easy to drive, but it certainly does not make it hot. So this particular coupe, even though it's good looking, even though it has independent rear suspension, it's another one of those cars that's like 80% there, but it's that last 20% that makes it not hot in my book. Engine is magnificent, spools up quickly, the brakes are good, the styling is good, the interior is good. It's just, you know, it's like putting this on top of the accelerator pedal and driving it around, and that cannot be hot. So guys, if you if you guys enjoy our series Hot or Not TFL Leaderboard, you want to see how that stacks up against other cars, just go to tflcar.com because we've got a link to TFL Leaderboard that has all of our videos so you can see exactly how fast each of the cars that we've tested has gone. As always, this is Roman.
And this is Paul.
Saying thanks for watching, and come back next Monday for another fun edition of TFL Leaderboard. See you next time. Ciao.
Now, do you want to use it as a crossover? Obviously, because of that sloping rear end, we're going to have a lot less usability in the back, a lot less cargo space. So you can get an X5M and get more usability, same manner, same speed.
The X6M is kind of this coupe that's really up high, and I think when you look at it, it's absolutely bonkers the numbers that the vehicle does produce.